right. Hey, everybody. This is your boy Pablo with the Soda Party Network. And we have a great show tonight. We are speaking with AKA Ru. And he's from the internet sensation, Beat Saber. Glad to have you on the show, sir.
Well, thank you for having me, Pablo.
You're welcome, sir. Yes, sir. It's always a pleasure. So for our audience who are not familiar with who you are, who are you?
That's yeah, good question. I guess simply put, I'm some guy who puts a VR headset on and dances for the masses on the internet. I do live streams where people will come in and they will watch me flail my arms about in a room with a camera pointed at me. It really doesn't get as more complex than that.
All right, awesome. So what's trending now is the Beat Saber. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so very recently a virtual reality game called Beat Saber came out, and you've probably seen a lot of hype around it, or maybe you've heard about it, but the whole idea is that it's a rhythm game, much like Guitar Hero or Rock Band, or even Just Dance. In fact, it's kind of a mashup of all of those put together. And the way you play is you have two laser swords in your hand, one red, one blue, and you have to hit cubes of the same color in time with the beat. And you also have to hit them in the right direction too. There's several levels of difficulty, and there are 10 songs in the official soundtrack. And I have to say, it is quite possibly the best rhythm game I've ever played. For those of you who've played DDR or anything like that, it's like that, but kind of on steroids, because you're in a full 3D environment. It's just, the aesthetic inside there is amazing. It's so much fun.
Wow. That's so awesome, man. Hey, okay, so for those who are new to VR, okay, so some may say, yeah, I've tried VR. You know, I've tried different generations of VR. You know, and my experience, man, I got headaches. You know, I mean, what makes this so different?
Well, so the tech that I'm using in that video is the HTC Vive. It's the version 1. It's the one that came out 2 years ago, and the key thing about it is that you don't feel sick in that. As long as you're playing a game that, you know, respects, like doesn't try to move you without you moving yourself, if that makes sense, you will not feel sick, which means that you can stay in there for several hours at a time, getting a sweat on, doing a workout in something like Box VR, or you can be walking around a room solving puzzles in an escape room simulator. And you can do that for an extended period of time now. Whereas, like, when the Virtual Boy came out, you put that thing on your face for 15 minutes, and you're seeing stars when you come out, and you feel awful.
Yeah, like a motion sickness.
Yeah, that's right. And motion sickness is this. It's a defense system that your brain has, and it's your dumb idiot primate brain trying to do its best to make sure that you're not poisoned. So when you've got two senses that don't line up, say, for example, your inner ear is telling you, I'm standing still right now. But then your eyes are telling your head, no, I'm moving forward right now. When that happens, your brain is like, okay, there's only one explanation for this. I've got to be poisoned. We've got to throw up right now. We've got to empty their stomach's contents, right? And that's where motion sickness comes from.
Yeah.
And the same problem applies in virtual reality. So a lot of early virtual reality systems would have you being, you know, flown around 3D scenes and stuff, which is all visually very, you know, exciting and impressive, but it makes people feel sick. Whereas now we know we can work out where you're standing within a room, which means that we don't have to move you manually. You can move yourself. You can walk naturally forward.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. To kind of add to that, to expand on that rather, when people see you, for example, on Facebook, they credit, of course, your name, and they also put another name as well. Pronounce Live. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. And Live is a virtual reality company that I work for. I'm their CTO, and what we do is we create technology that puts a window into that virtual world. So everything that happens inside the VR headset is usually limited to, you know, the person experiencing it, the person wearing the headset. And that's kind of a shame. And it's, if you show somebody else what's going on directly from what the person's seeing in the headset, it doesn't really make sense. You don't see everything that the person's feeling. And that's a really important distinction. You know, when you're in virtual reality, you're not just seeing things. You're not just seeing 3D images. You're feeling the environment that you're in, and it feels very real. And your brain completely accepts it. But for people watching outside, they don't get it. They don't see the context. They don't see, you know, what you're interacting with. Like these games know where your hands are to ridiculous levels of accuracy. And so what we do is we put another camera into that virtual world, the exact same one, the one that matches reality in scale and size. And then we match it up with a real camera. And what you get with a little bit of green screen magic is a video, a two-dimensional video of you in a completely foreign virtual world interacting with the same objects. Say you got a sword in your hand, you will have a giant 12-foot sword in your hand. Swing it around, that's exactly what you see. And yeah, we think that this is a much better way to watch VR content.
Wow. I mean, okay, so so someone that's new to that build, because I saw some pictures on y'all's website. Everybody go to live, that's liv.tv. You want to learn more about it, just go on the About page and check out information on that. And for those that are new to that, to VR and this concept, there's like a box, right? You just step in.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So what you're seeing there is probably the Live Cube. It's a big, giant, glowing green cube. That's what you need if you want to film using the technology that we do. But if you want to experience virtual reality for yourself, like say at your own home, you don't actually need all of that equipment. You need very little these days. The system that I use, the HTC Vive, requires two little beacons that can go anywhere in your room, nice and high up, pointed at the floor. And that's pretty much it. You need a gaming PC and you can off to the races. You don't even need that much space as well. So you can set it up in a living room or a bedroom or something like that. Though the cubes that we have, they're 8 feet cubed of dedicated space where you're not going to get, you know, you're not going to hurt yourself or break TV screens or walk into a wall.
Man, I mean, it's gone. It's certainly that technology has advanced so fast. I mean,
yeah, yeah. And sorry,
yeah, no,
please.
Go ahead. If you can expand on that, please.
Yeah, so the speed at which things have kind of happened is honestly crazy. Like there was the landmark acquisition that Facebook made, what was it, 4 years ago now, when they acquired Oculus as a company, and then they released the Oculus Developer Kit 2, and that was the first virtual reality headset that was commercially available that also tracked the position of your head. And this is where it gets really important, because up until that point, all virtual reality attempts didn't track the position of the head. They only tracked the rotation. And this rotation tracking is called 3 depth of field, or 3 DOF. Some people will call it that. And it basically just refers to X, Y, and Z of rotation. And the big problem with that is that, you know, your head isn't mounted on a static gimbal that can only move in those 3 rotations, right? Mm-hmm. It's attached to skeletons and imperfect things that move left and right when you're looking at stuff. And your brain relies on that for depth cues, spatial information, environmental information, all sorts of stuff. So if you don't have that, your brain tries to make do with the information it's got, and you end up feeling sick after a period of time. You get headaches, you can feel, you know, nausea, all sorts of terrible things. But now we've got this ability to know where your head is, where your hands are. All of that goes away. Like, it's so much simpler now, and it's strange how much of a flip of a switch it is, because now you can spend hours in virtual reality, whereas before it was very much a temporary thing.
Wow. So, I mean, I imagine, I mean, when you're like really getting into it, like, you know, with some friends or whatever, even just by yourself, I mean, you can just do that. Like, it's addictive.
Oh, absolutely. Like, the first few days that I had my headset were a very surreal few days, like to the point where it was affecting my dreams. I would have dreams where, so this requires a bit of context, but yeah. The way you're kept safe when you're walking around your room is that whilst you're setting everything up, there's a process you do where you draw an outline around the things that you around the things that